The house is quiet, like eerily quiet, because my husband took the kids to New Orleans for fall break. But since I am still in school and have classes this week, that means that I am here in my house alone with my books. And that can only mean one thing, that it's time to dive headfirst into some witch horror fiction, and not just like those cute whimsical type witches. No. I am in the mood for those dark and disturbing witchy reads that really climbs underneath your skin and gives you the heebie-jeebies. I want dark, I want disturbing, I want skin crawling, witchy horror atmosphere. I just finished my first chapter taste test on 5 different witchy reads, and from that video I chose to move forward with reading Slewfoot by Brom and Cunning Folk by Adam Nevill. And so those are the ones that called to me and that I thought best fit the vibes that I'm going for. So that's what I'm going to be reading over the next few days while I'm home alone in this house during spooky season. What could go wrong? Hello, welcome back. My name is Brit and this is Brit's Wickedry. And as I mentioned, my kids are on fall break and they are down in New Orleans with my husband. So while they are on break and having a good time, I am not on break because I still have classes this week. However, between lectures and homework, I'm going to have a lot of free time on my hands since my family is gone, and I'm going to be filling that time by diving into some really good witch horror, which is much needed right now because I just survived midterm week. It was terrible. My brain was fried, my anxiety was high, but I got through it. But throughout that week, I basically completely abandoned all of my other responsibilities, hobbies, life. What is life? I don't know during midterm week. All that's on my mind during midterm week is school. So that means that my house right now is kind of in the state that resembles like a post-apocalyptic hazard zone. So I'm gonna need to spend some time today also managing that and doing a good deep clean of my house since I kind of abandoned it last week. So the plan for today is to reclaim my space a little bit, reset my energy, and also hop in and out of my books. I think I'm going to actually start with Slewfoot today. I have it on Kindle. So that's what I read the first chapter on, but I was also looking and I can get the audiobook as well, like it's available. And so I think I'm actually going to grab the audiobook of Slewfoot by Brom, pop that in and listen to that while I'm doing some chores and cleaning up. Just to kind of get the ball rolling on that. Slewfoot, if you are unfamiliar, is a book by Brom, and he is the same author who wrote Krampus, which I actually read last year during like winter season, and it was really good. His books tend to have like horrifying themes and definitely elements of horror weaved in, but from my experience, at least from what I've read from him and the reviews and things that I've seen on his books, is that his books actually lean a little bit more in like the dark fantasy realm with like horror woven in. And Slewfoot is based in the 1600s in a Puritan village following a young woman who has been sent from London to marry one of the men in the town, like that she had never met. She was just arranged to marry this man. And she's now been there for 2 years and is married and is finding it very hard to follow all of the rules that the strict Puritan village has set for not just everybody in the village, but specifically women and what they are and are not allowed to do. And obviously, if you know anything about that time, it was very, very strict and very, very religious based. I'm not going to rehash the full first chapter. If you want to hear more about that, definitely go and watch the first chapter taste test. But it had vibes of, sorry, there's like a dust mote, a piece of dog hair floating in the air. But it definitely gave some of those creepy, dark vibes in the first chapter, as well as leaning heavily into setting up like what is going, like the setting and the historical time period, and how oppressed she's feeling within this Puritan system. And her husband are hitting a really rough patch. And so I'm excited to see where it goes from here. From reading the synopsis, I think I know like what is about to happen soon because I believe it's said in the synopsis. I don't know if I want to mention it here. Like, I'm pretty sure it's in the synopsis. Let me check. Okay, it doesn't. So I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I must have heard it or saw it mentioned in like a review or somebody else's video where they were talking about it. So I'm not going to say it here, but I have an idea of what's about to happen next or soon in the direction in which this goes. And I'm excited to really dive into it some more. So that's what we're going to go do. I'm going to start that audiobook and get my house in shape, and I will catch up with you after that.
Ceiling and floor. Neither one of them aware of the three small shadows hovering in the far corner of the room.
Alright, so I just got done cleaning the living room and the kitchen, and I still have a little bit, like 20 or so minutes left in the audiobook of Slewfoot before I hit the 25% mark in. So what I'm going to do is keep listening to that while I work on doing a pickup of my office space here. I have like piles of books everywhere because while I was filming my last few videos, like my last book haul, I didn't take all of the books and like put them on my shelves afterwards. I also have to take those books that I hauled, write them on the slips that go in my TBR jar here. So I'm probably gonna do that if I have enough time. And just do a general like declutter and pickup. It's not terrible, but there's just stuff everywhere that needs to kind of be like picked up. So I'm going to do that while I'm listening, and then once that's done, like once I get to that point where it's 25% in, I'm gonna stop, update you guys on Slewfoot and what I'm thinking about that, and then I have a biology class I've got to take today that I can do online, so I'm going to then get into that and probably do a little bit of studying before I get too much deeper like into the book. Okay, so I finished doing my pickup. I got to 25% in on Slewfoot. And last time that we talked like about Slewfoot, I was worried to say something that I thought I knew was going to happen because I was scared it was a spoiler. However, I did a little bit more digging and it's not a spoiler. It's actually on like the back cover copy of the physical book. So that made me feel a little bit better. But what I was going to say was her husband that she came to, America to marry dies. So she's widowed like 2 years after coming to this Puritan town. First of all, that is tragic. That is tragic because her husband, like the man she actually ended up marrying, can I tell you that getting on a ship and crossing the ocean to another country, to another continent, to be married off to a stranger is absolutely terrifying, like in itself. Like that is absolutely terrifying. So the fact that the man that she was married to was a good guy and was like super sweet and super respectful, was such a like stroke of luck for her. And so it is so tragic that he dies. I mean, he dies leaving her all alone. It's not like she has anybody else that's a support system. So her husband's brother, as we talked about, wants the land that they've been living on, and he's not a good guy. Like, he's not a support system for her. He does not really care about her at all. He cares about keeping her in line. He cares about wanting to get his land back. And he literally took this case right before his brother died, took the case to the people in charge in their village, who the people actually sided with the younger brother and said, no, you guys made a pre-existing deal. You know, you have to uphold that. That's what's right to do. And he was furious. The older brother was furious. But now that the younger brother has died, Abatha's husband, now he, in his mind, doesn't have to hold himself to that agreement, and he should get that land. But Abatha is having to stand up for herself, right? So her husband is died, and she is kind of had to be brave and stick to her guns. And now that she's a widow, everybody in the town is telling her what she should do, right? She should leave her home. She should move in with the brother-in-law. She should be married off to somebody else that she doesn't know, doesn't want to marry. You know, she has no, her husband had literally died and was buried. They held his service, like that very day. And they were already talking about marrying her off to somebody else. Wild. And she's had to be like, no, I am going to, you know, as a widow, I have certain rights. And my rights are that I can basically now talk and act in the place of, you know, my deceased husband, and stick to the things that he would have wanted for his land and for, you know, me, his wife. And that is right in the law. And so the men in the village, you know, had to say like, okay, if you want to, we don't recommend doing that. You know, as a woman, you would never be able to do all of these responsibilities, you know, thinking she's just going to fail just because the simple fact that she is a young woman. And this makes the brother irate, like furious. And so now that's kind of where I left off at the 25% mark. We've also had a little bit more time with what is going to be like this dark force that is living in the woods, that has had a little bit of interaction now with Abatha. But from the synopsis and things like that, I know that they're going to kind of team up, kind of like together to help her get what she wants and get what she deserves, and not be overpowered by the Puritan men who want to basically take over her life. But that hasn't happened right now, and we're kind of getting introduced to this figure who has just awoken from like a long slumber, and we don't really know what he is. We don't really know. He doesn't even know what he is. He doesn't have memory from his life before. He's only being told that by some other figures that are kind of telling him his history, telling him who he is, and he has absolutely no memory of it. But that's where we're at now. So it does have some of those vibes. I'm hoping we lean into the witchiness and the darkness and whatever this devil, demon, spirit thing is. I don't know what he is. Whatever he is, hopefully we get to see some more of that. But I am enjoying it. I was right when I assumed that there was going to be like some religious horror going on, which kind of makes sense. It makes sense for the type of book this is, and I'm loving that. I'm not a religious person myself, but I love religious horror when it's done in a specific way, and I'm really liking this one because it's paired up with that witchiness, and it's tied into history and things that probably 100% actually happened, and experiences real people have had to go through under the oppression of like super strict religious systems. And so yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm looking forward to continuing. I'm hoping that we can ramp up the unsettling vibes here as we get further in. And with that, I am going to log on to my school right now, because I actually have a class I need to take and I haven't done that yet. And then I'm probably going to do a little bit of studying and homework. Then once that's done, I can get back to reading. So that way it's going to be kind of like a little reward for getting my work done, and I'm looking forward to it.
That this is going to be, maybe a little bit out of order the way the textbook does it, but I think the way that I've taken these topics.
Also, I don't know if I've ever actually mentioned this on this channel, but I own a Etsy shop where I release like bookish stickers, bookmarks, sticker sheets, annotation supplies, and things like that. And I'll put the link down in the description if you want to go check it out. It's called Wicked Fable Studios. But I actually have a few orders that I need to get put in the mail today, so I'm going to work on packing those up. But I also have like different maintenance tasks I've got to do this week while I'm probably doing this vlog. You'll see some snippets of it. I've got to get some restocks like printed out, cut out. I've got to update my inventory. And I also, maybe if I have enough time, I don't know that I will, but I would love to get a couple new designs made and test it out. So maybe you guys will see that process as well throughout this vlog. Hello, it is the next day and I have already been to school and back, and I got home. The weather is lovely. I took a little walk around our trail that we have back behind our house. But also I have reached the 50% mark in Slewfoot. And so let's do a little catch up. So before I get started, let me preface this by saying I am enjoying the book. I am enjoying the book in the fact that it is a good book, and I like Brom's writing, and I like the time period and the characters and the themes that we're covering, okay? I am enjoying that. However, right now at 50%, it is 100% not delivering the vibes that I wanted for this vlog, like for this reading session, for these 4 days that I have had child-free to really dive into some creepy, spooky witch stuff. It's just not, at this moment in the book, hitting those darker notes that I was really wanting out of my witch book. So I momentarily was like, maybe I'll put this book down and like come back to it when I'm wanting something on the more like whimsical, witchy, beautiful, witchy type side, because that's really where it's going right now. Like, it's talking about the beauty in nature and the relationship between, like magic and Mother Nature and, the animals, and all of that is beautiful and great. But I wanted creepy and terrifying and unsettling, and we're just not getting that right now. But that was my initial thought. But I texted a friend who has already read this book, and I asked her if it gets different, like if it does start to dip into that darker side. And she says as we get towards the end of the book, it does, so to hold out. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to push through, and hopefully those vibes of the more like darker type witchcraft stuff or horror aspects that I'm looking for, hopefully that will come. So fingers crossed about that. But like I said, overall, I am enjoying it. The writing is beautiful. The feelings it's evoking are very powerful. We're past the part in the story where I want to give too much detail without it being like spoilery, but it's definitely something that definitely has a place in the witch genre I typically enjoy, and that if that wasn't having that specific itch for like super terrifying horror-esque books, that I think I would be enjoying my time a lot better. I just find myself right now really itching to get to the scary stuff, the thing that's gonna like bump my adrenaline a little bit or make me start feeling uncomfortable or unsettled. But I was assured that stuff like that is coming, so I am gonna hold out and wait. But I thought that while I was here, that I would show you guys some of the cute things that I found. Well, this past weekend, we took the kids to the Halloween shop. Spirit Halloween, I think is what it's called. Spirit Halloween, I think is what it's called. And, it's something that they're always like super excited about. And I usually enjoy my time there too as a once a year type visit kind of thing. And so we were letting the kids like pick out their costumes, and me and the husband were like going back and forth on what we wanted to do this year. Last year we were Casper and Wendy. I'll put like a little picture here so you can see us. It was so cute. If you are a kid of the 90s like me, maybe you remember the Casper and Wendy movie that had Hilary Duff in it. That was like one of my all-time favorite movies, and I feel like it's so super unappreciated, and I definitely am due for a rewatch because I have not seen it in at least 5 years, but I remember just absolutely loving that movie. Anyways, we went as Casper and Wendy last year, and so this year we were trying to think like what we wanted to do, what we wanted to dress up as for Halloween. And while I was looking around at the different things that they have, like they have the different sections in Spirit Halloween. So they have like the kids costumes, and then they have like the adult costumes. And then in the middle, they kind of just put like random stuff that doesn't really go anywhere else. Well, I decided while my kids were looking that I was going to wander over into that section and see, just like browse. And there were so many cute stuff, like home decor type stuff that I would not have expected to be in Spirit Halloween, because I usually don't actually like go to those sections. I don't know if it's new and they maybe just were trying to expand their offerings. But listen guys, some of the stuff that I found were like super cute, like all year round type decor. So I'm going to show you what I found here in a minute. Some things that I picked up that I want to put on my bookshelves, like in the in my reading room back there, because it's super cute. So let me show you the first one, which I think is my favorite. This is what caught my eye and made me go like, I've got to get that. I have got to get that. So it's a Medusa bust in this beautiful green color. Look at that. Seriously, I love it so much. As soon as I saw this, I was like, this is coming home with me. This is going to get a place on the bookshelf. I love it. And it's got good weight to it. I have to admit that the cut and the neck part's not really my favorite, but I can see that it adds to the overall spooky vibe of it. But literally, this is gorgeous. So I'm so happy that I found that. The other two pieces that I ended up coming home with to go along with that, to add to my decor in my reading room, was this little fake faux skull with gold accents that I thought matched really well with the gold on this. And it's got that spooky, cute, naturey vibe that I also feel, now looking at it, really fits the vibe of Slewfoot by Brom. The book that I'm reading definitely has similar vibes. It's giving me magical beast, but obviously it's not a real skull. And let's see, the other thing is this cute little golden sand time. I don't know what they're called, if they have a specific name. Sand dripper. But yeah, super cute. I like the vibe of it all. You can see that it's got like snakes. So yeah, I loved it. I love the vibe of this stuff, and it's definitely going to go find a place on my bookshelves. But then back to the Halloween costume story. I also was not finding anything that I really liked. I usually have a hard time looking at like specific, like the pre-packaged costumes that they have and deciding, yeah, that's what I want to be, because I find them all to be a little cheesy. And nothing just like resonates with me. So I usually like DIY my own from from just like pieces of clothing or some makeup or whatever, because I just feel more comfortable in that. Like I prefer it. So that was kind of like the direction that I found myself going again this time. And I knew like my kids were pressuring me to get something, but I didn't find anything that I liked. They, of course, are ecstatic this time of year about anything Spookyton. So they really wanted me to pick something so that we could all be leaving with costumes. And I almost left empty-handed until I came across this super cute dress that is not supposed to be a costume. It wasn't in the costume area. It was in like their new little section that had like basic clothes. But let me show you. It's a Ouija board dress. So cute, right? Okay, so I decided when I saw this that I'm gonna be a Ouija board for Halloween. You can be a Ouija board, right? I'm gonna be, because that had to come home with me. That was super cute. And my kids were, of course, pressuring me to get a costume. And so when I saw this, I was like, look, this is the only thing in the entire store that I want. I would wear this just like around the house. I don't care. But I bought it and told them that I will be the Ouija board for Halloween. And then, of course, once I found that, I also found some cute Ouija board themed like accessories. So some little hair clips. I am a hair clip girly. I absolutely love hair clips. And so when I saw that they had some that like matched the dress, I had to pick it up. See? Cute. Cute. And then finally, some like witchy, let's see, Ouija board type press-on nails. So I think that'll look cute with it as well on Halloween. And that's what I found at the Halloween store that has almost nothing to do with Halloween at all, but I made it work and it all came home with me. And so yeah, I just wanted to show you guys because I just thought it was so cute. But that is all for my impromptu little Halloween decor costume mini haul. And now I'm going to probably start folding some laundry. I don't know if you can see behind on the couch. I've got like a big ol' pile of laundry. That doesn't look that big in this camera, but it is more than I would love or like to fold right now. But I'm gonna go dive into folding some laundry, listen to some more Slewfoot, and then start on some homework. And then hopefully by this evening, like I would love to be able to finish Slewfoot today, so that tonight I can start the other book, Cunning Folk, that I wanted to read in this little vlog. And hopefully, if Slewfoot doesn't deliver on the type of scary vibes that I'm looking for, I'm hoping Cunning Folk will. So that's the plan for today. I am going to do laundry, some chores, some homework, and then kind of just maybe make myself cozy, finish Slewfoot. Maybe while I'm listening to it later, I'll do some gaming because I have not picked up my Nintendo Switch in way too long. It's a shame. It's a tragedy. So maybe I'll do that. And tonight, since I don't actually have to drive to school tomorrow and I can take my classes online, and I can take my classes online, maybe I'll actually stay up late and watch some like good witchy horror movies. But we'll see. That's kind of my plan for the day. And I will check in with you probably after I finish Slewfoot. Okay, bye. Okay, so I just finished Slewfoot, and my friend was right. It definitely got better. It definitely leaned more into those vibes. And when I say it got better, what I mean is it got absolutely terrible. Like, it got horrifying. Like, I was so furious at what was happening. So kind of like what I was thinking in the beginning was that, you know, obviously this was a book about witches, and, you know, I was thinking that the town was going to turn on her and start accusing her of witchcraft. And of course, that does eventually happen. And after that happened, it definitely took more of a darker turn from that more like beautiful, whimsical type witch story, more to the darker type of witch story. And I see why the author, like, now that it's over, I see why the author did that, why Brom wrote the book in the way that he did. And it was to kind of show us like both sides of the coin here, to show us both sides of, you know, of the historical witch, and also to give us time to go through the journey with Abatha as she was coming into her own, and get us to know her and appreciate her more when the things that inevitably start to happen do start to happen. And it was super uncomfortable, more so because a lot of the terrible things that happened in this book, the extremely uncomfortable parts, were things that really and truly happened to real women back in the day, real ways they were treated, the ways they were spoken to, the ways that they were villainized and punished for things that were just uncalled for. And so by the end of the book, Abatha was in full revenge mode, and I was rooting for her the entire time because every single person fucking deserved it. Let's just say that. But there were parts of this book that I didn't love, parts that were a little confusing to me, or maybe not confusing, but like a little vague, that I felt could have been maybe elaborated on like a little bit more. But I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the messages of it. I liked the whole kind of play around the fact of you know, witchcraft and religion, and the implications of being religious and the implications of not being religious, and how it didn't matter which category you fell into during these kinds of times. You could be villainized either way. You were never safe, right? But yeah, it was a good time. It was a good read. I definitely enjoyed the second half. I enjoyed the very beginning and the last maybe like 30% more than I enjoyed the middle of the book. And that was just because I found the middle of the book to be a little bit slow, like I explained. But overall, it was a really good time, and I'm glad I stuck it out, and I'm glad I read it. It definitely leaned more into the almost like cozy fantasy type, especially there in the middle. And then more dark fantasy towards the end with, you know, some horrific things woven in. So it definitely was not a straight horror, which I knew that going in, that I think I said that in the beginning, that I knew it wasn't going to be that way. But I did have a good time. I think I would rate it, as of right now, I'm going to think on it a little bit more, kind of let it marinate a bit more in my brain before I give it like a final rating. But I'm thinking it's about a 4, maybe 4.5 star for me. It wasn't a 5 star just because I was not enjoying the middle as much, but it did redeem itself towards the end, and I ended up having a really good time with it. But with that said, it is now like almost 9 p.m. And I know I mentioned earlier that I might have like a witchy movie night, which I still might do that tonight. But I remembered that earlier, like a few weeks ago, when I was thinking about doing this, and then I had completely forgot I even ordered it, but I was looking at like witchy, kind of dark books and was asking for recommendations. And I actually got recommended like a graphic novel that I had never heard of before called Harrow County. And when I looked it up, I thought it looked really interesting. And so I went ahead and picked it up, and I haven't read it yet. I've just kind of flipped through the artwork, but I figured now is the perfect time to do that. So look at the artwork on this. Like, that is so unsettling. This is apparently supposed to be about a witch. Let me read you. It says, Emmy always knew that the woods surrounding her home crawled with ghosts and monsters, but on the eve of her 18th birthday, she learns that she is connected to these creatures and to the land itself in a way she never imagined. So this is actually the omnibus of, let's see, what does it say? Issues 1 through 16, maybe? But it's giving very creepy, unsettling vibes. From what I saw when I looked into it, it's about this girl, Emmy, who is maybe discovering that she's a witch or like a reincarnation of a witch or something like that. So yeah, I think I'm actually going to like clean my makeup off, go climb in bed, get in some cozy PJs, and just read through this. Look at this artwork. Okay, that right there is the creepy witch vibes I was wanting. Okay, and that one right there definitely is giving me like the end of Slewfoot vibes. Okay, if you've read it, this right here, yeah. But that's what I'm gonna do. That's my plan. I'm gonna read through this. I don't know, I probably won't get through the whole thing because it's a chunker, even though it's a graphic novel. But that's what I think I'm gonna go do. And then maybe read some of this, maybe turn on a movie, get some popcorn, and yeah, I will catch up with you tomorrow where I think, I'm gonna start on The Cunning Folk tomorrow by Adam Nevill. All right, so I'll see you then. Good morning. So I spent some time this morning in bed before like officially getting up and getting ready for the day, diving into The Cunning Folk by Adam Nevill. And so far, I'm only on like chapter 10. But so far I am enjoying it. I am noticing though that like the writing style is I don't really know how to describe it. It's not like a super easy writing style like that I can read through super quickly. It takes, I think it's like all of the different, he goes into like really big description of like everything. And I think that's kind of slowing down my reading a little bit. So I don't know that I'll be able to get through this one like all the way today because Cody and the kids do come back this evening, like late into the evening. So I'm gonna try though. If not, I might have to like stretch this vlog out to maybe like Monday or Tuesday, like throughout the weekend, just to give myself enough time to finish that. I know I'm gonna be pretty busy throughout this weekend. We've got like some things that we're gonna be taking care of, and so I won't have like a ton of reading time, but hopefully if I don't get The Cunning Folk finished today, I'll be able to wrap it up throughout the weekend and update you guys maybe Monday after classes or on Tuesday. But I'm hoping it doesn't stretch that long and I'm able to get through it. With that said, today I have some classes I've got to go take here at home. So I'm going to get ready to go catch that class. And then after that, I will get back to reading. But also, I have some Etsy stuff that I gotta take care of today. I think I mentioned that earlier that I really, really, like, it's way past due for me to get like my inventory taken care of. I also have gotten a few more orders since when I last filled the orders 2 days ago. I think it was on Tuesday maybe. So anyways, I've got some more orders that I've got to fulfill. I've got some inventory I need to get done. I don't think I'm gonna have time today. Like, I had wanted to get some more designs out and added to the shop. I really wanted to get ahead of like the Christmas time, like the winter time. I have some designs that I wanted to like re-upload from last year, like some cute, like creepy cute Halloween, kind of spooky but also Christmas winter style stuff that I designed last year, and I really wanted to get that like put back into the shop this week to kind of get ahead of the curve, but I don't know if I'm gonna have time to do that. I'm gonna try, so we'll see if I'm able to do that. So we'll see. Hopefully I'll have time to get everything done that I wanted. I really want to be able to get done with my class stuff, get done with my Etsy stuff, and have enough time to really like sink into this book. But I'm worried that with the writing style, it's not going to be one of those books like I maybe originally thought, that I'd be able to like zip through really quickly and get done like in one day. Because when I read the prologue, that's kind of the vibes that I got from it. But we'll see. We'll just see how it goes. I'll update you when I've made some progress. And yeah, I'm gonna go catch my class. Talk to you later. What are you doing, Wednesday? Are you all cuddled down? You taking a nap? Do you want to go psycho potty? Do you want to go psycho potty? You do! Stretch! Okay, come on, let's go potty. Okay, so it is now a few days later since I last spoke to you, and I have officially wrapped up and finished reading Cunning Folk by Adam Nevill. And I have to say that I liked the ending of the book, like the ending quarter of the book, a lot more than I did the beginning of the book, which I also think is exactly what I said about Slewfoot by Brom, but it definitely started to give me those vibes I was looking for. It definitely leaned really heavy into the folk horror type genre, and there were enough twists and turns there at the end to really keep me guessing. I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't have told you like how it was going to end. I couldn't have told you like an explanation for all of the things that were happening until it was like just like unveiled to the reader. I think overall I would rate Slewfoot a 4.5, and I would rate The Cunning Folk a 3.5. That is simply because I didn't necessarily jive with the writing style, which I think I explained earlier. The writing felt a little meticulous for me to read. And so it just wasn't my favorite. He's an okay author. I would definitely give Adam Nevill a try again in the future. Give another one of his books a read. But I simply just found, like I said, I couldn't flow through the reading for some reason with the way that he chose to describe certain things and the way that he structured his sentences. It just didn't jive with me. And that's okay. Everybody is allowed their own opinions, and I'm not saying he's not a bad, he's not a good author or anything like that. I definitely enjoyed it. I'm giving it a 3.5, and that's not a bad rating, like in my book. Like anything above a 3 is a book that I liked, that I enjoyed, that I found to be a good book. Like 3 would be like the lower scale of my enjoyment, with 5 being like my favorite books ever. And then once you start getting like under 3, that's when it was something like a 2 for me, is something that I didn't like the idea. I didn't like the writing style. I didn't think that maybe the plot was very well done or the character development was very well done. And then like towards a 1, that would be me saying like this book was absolutely not for me. I didn't like anything about it. But yeah, 3 is still a good rating for me. And so I'm giving that The Cunning Folk a 3.5. And yeah, I would be willing to try something from him again in the future. But as for now, I am wrapping up this witchy reading vlog. Maybe I didn't find my newest favorite dark witchy horror type book, but I did read 2 pretty good ones that I overall enjoyed and gave pretty good ratings to. And I think that I am still on the search for that specific kind of witchy vibe that I'm looking for, but I was enjoying the 2 different stories surrounding different kinds of witches that I was able to dive into this week. Overall, I had a really good time with it. I think that I don't have it in here right now, but I'm also really enjoying Harrow County, the graphic novel that I shared with you earlier. That's actually really good, and the artwork is stunning and creepy, and I am really enjoying that one. But that's all I have for you today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me and watching this vlog. If you've made it all the way to this point, I'd love to ask you, what is your favorite witchy horror book? And maybe I can dive into that one next time. So let me know down in the comments below. And if you have made it all the way here, but you have nothing else really to say, please drop the witch emoji down in the comments. Just let me know that you're here and you made it to the end. I had such a fun time doing this vlog, and I look forward to doing more like this in the future. On a side note, if you'd like to check out my Etsy shop, Wicked Fable Studios, I'll have the link to that down in the description below if you're interested in any of my spooky cute stickers, bookmarks, or any other of my designs that I put out. I would love for you to come and check it out. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you have a lovely day. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more vlogs like this from me, and I will see you next time. Bye.